So I guess, yeah, for anyone who's unfamiliar with your channel, just I guess give us a brief rundown of who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Jacob Rohrbach, and I run a small YouTube channel called Dark Fire Productions, in which we produce short films and have been for like the past 10 years. We're best known for something called the Creepypasta Episodes, which is a 3-season series where we've been adapting creepypastas to short films.
Mm. So you said, how long have you been doing video stuff?
Actually, it's been 11 years. Wow. We
Wow.
just hit our 11th anniversary like last week.
That's impressive. So is it always just kind of been like, is it more oriented in like passion projects, or is it kind of branched out into like more freelancing and less fun projects, I should say? Like,
Well, it started out just making kind of fun home videos that branched into a series. And now I freelance and I do all of this other stuff for other YouTubers. It's really enjoyable, honestly. I haven't found a dull day yet.
Yeah, no, I always see you doing crazy stuff, no matter what it is. I mean, that the Creepypastas episodes is how I found out about you. You had adapted Candle Cove, and that was something that I had done a spin on, and I was really impressed by I mean, like, coming from someone who has extremely limited resources, I was kind of impressed by your production value on that episode. So that's how I kind of found out about you, and I watched, I think, a very good majority of them since then, and it's a very impressive series overall.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm pretty impressed at how far it's evolved over the years. We used to have only one camera and like a neon light, and now we have a full like film setup.
Yeah, it is kind of always crazy to see how something grows and evolves over time. It's like, it's weird to think like, man, like I personally don't have a project that I've kind of been as invested in as long as you have with that, but I can imagine that it's very crazy to think, man, like this is where we started and now here we are 3 seasons in.
Yeah, 3 seasons in and now a feature film. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have like a like, looking, because I know you had said that season 3 was kind of going to be the end of things, and you were going to move on to other projects, not necessarily in the horror vein. But do you have, like, looking back on that series, any few particular episodes that that you look back fondly on?
Yeah, my favorite 2 episodes I've made were The Doll with the Lifelike Eyes, where it was an episode I made with all my best friends, and we just had like the perfect time filming it. And then Psychosis is the one I'm most proud of. It's an early season 1 episode, but I think that's probably the tightest script I've written for the series.
Yeah, Psychosis that's one, I think, one of the very first creepypastas I had ever read. And that kind of like got the ball rolling with me, where I kind of wanted to start adapting them, but I don't know why I never took a swing at that one. But that is one that I would really like to do. I find that a lot of times, and I know you've said as much to me with different scripts, that sometimes you'll get from people who like freelance write for the series. They'll come up with all these crazy ideas, and sometimes it's just not feasible to shoot at all. But it is really fun to kind of even just as like a side project, to just like try and figure out, well, how would this work on a in video form.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a thought process. I usually let my writers like have free reign with the projects and let them write whatever they want, and then I have to cut down the script to make it filmable with my budget.
What was do you have one? It's okay if you don't want to get into it or name names, but is there one that was like really, really out there and you had to scale it back like a whole lot, or if you kind of, if it's too far out there, you kind of go, maybe this isn't the right the right person to be working with?
Yeah, actually, the season 2 finale, The Disappearance of Ashley, that one was a whole different script when I first had it written. I didn't originally write that one. I had someone else write it, but the script was just so like out there. It required so many special effects that I just sat down and said, "Hey, buddy, I can't do this." I just can't do it. Like there's a scene where like fissures would open up in the middle of the town, and it's like I don't know how to do this.
Well, I must say, from that particular episode, I think that turned out very well in the way that it was scaled back. It was still very effective, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm very proud of how it turned out. The special effects, yeah, I could have like used a little bit more tuning up now that I look back on it, but for what I could do back then, I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah, it was very, very impressive. Again, coming from someone else whose resources are kind of limited, I one of the things that I really admire about your work is how you're able to turn out something of fairly decent quality every single time, regardless of how limited your resources might be.
Oh yeah, I'm just very stubborn when it comes to these things.
And that's good. That you got to have that like, no, I this needs to be done my way, and I
Hmm.
will see this through to the end. That's I think a very important aspect for someone who wants to do any type of video production.
Oh yeah, I'm a big advocate for creative control. I feel like you need to have that when you're creating something, or else the passion's just gone.
Mm. Yeah, I totally agree. I guess a few more questions about the creepypasta episodes. Is there any because I'm obviously like we had said, you're gonna cut it off at the end of season 3, but obviously the world of creepypasta is so huge and it's almost an endless well to draw on. But are there any particular stories that that you're not going to be adapting that you really wish you had gotten the chance to adapt? Whether that be from like
Uh,
just the fact of like your budget was too limited, or like the script was too insane, or like whatever the reason might be.
there was actually a good chunk of season 3 that got canceled that I was looking forward to doing, but the budget got too long, abstractions wore me out, and everything else.
Hmm.
But I was actually going to adapt the statue, the SCP story,
That would have been
into a full
interesting.
short. Yeah, it was gonna be a full short film. It was gonna be like some camping kind of slasher film. It was a really good script, but it just didn't work out in the end.
Hmm. Gotcha.
I even made like a little clay model that I was gonna use for special effects. I look back on that one, I'm just kind of miss that opportunity.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a very interesting story to try and adapt.
Hmm.
I'd always really wanted to do. It's not necessarily a creepypasta, but there's this one short story that I really, really, really would like to take a stab at. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, the
Oh
Harlan
yeah,
Ellison short story. I really wish that I had the ability to tackle that, but I feel like that's just such an involved project that would take like so many more resources outside of what I have. But yeah, no, I think there's always people have those stories of like projects that are like the what's the guy Icarus? It's just like you fly too
hmm
close to the sun, that your ambition is too great. Uh, but I guess backtracking a little bit. So how did you get your start in video production?
Well, I started back in 2008 with my friend Marcus. He invited me to join this film production class that our public access station was hosting. And
Mm,
there they would teach us how to use cameras, how to do editing, and all that basic stuff. And after the first 2 classes, I realized I had a real love for doing this, so I kind of kept doing it. I started a YouTube channel with him, and we just formed Dark Cloud Productions together to create that thing.
mm. And then how long after that did the Creepypasta episodes come out? Was it kind of a while of like spitballing what you might want to do, or was it kind of instantaneous?
Definitely a lot of spitballing. The first 5 years were just me, Marcus, just kind of making some stupid stuff, just kind of playing around, seeing what happens. Then Marcus went off and did his own thing. He moved to Seattle. He's pursuing his own dreams, and I decided I was gonna start trying to make series.
Mm,
I was seeing like what kind of stuff I was making. I was making basically what would be pilots these days
hmm
of just short films. I had like a parody of survival stuff. I made music videos, and then 2013 I think hit, and then I discovered creepypastas, and I discovered a grocery list that
mm.
kind of popular story, and I decided to take a shot at making a film of that, and that thing blew up. So I made Eyeless Jack, which also blew up, and then from there I just decided to make a series out of it.
So then, yeah, obviously, like you had your start with like the doing all these like sort of miscellaneous projects. Creepypasta episodes happened, and then recently you've been kind of trying more dramatic feature length or at least longer form short films. So how has that switch been like for you?
It's been different. Like it's a total genre shift and a total different look at production in general. Like Abstractions was a dramatic horror production, which I had to focus a lot on lighting, character work, and all that to make a hour-long feature film.
Mm.
And this next project, Hoodie, is just a complete drama. It's interesting to work with these characters, see the actors kind of build on these characters and ask questions instead of just playing kind of tropey characters from horror movies.
Right, right. And is that just the burnout of Creepypasta episodes of like, let me try something completely different, or do you think that maybe one day you'll go back to horror?
It's definitely a burnout for now. After making horror for 5 years, I started noticing I fell into a formula of how to make productions. I was using the same stuff over and over again that it just kind of got boring to watch and edit and produce that I physically started getting tired doing. So I decided to take another shot at different projects, do some more artsy stuff, do more dramatic stuff, kind of awaken myself in a sense.
No, that totally makes sense. Yeah, no, I can see how working on something for that long could get kind of tiring. So then, Hoodie is what you're working on now, right?
Yes, it's currently in post-production and editing.
Well, that was good that you finished it before all this kind of shut everything down.
Definitely, yeah.
What's your plan? Like, because I know with Abstractions, you got it crowdfunded, you made it, and then you kind of tried to take it on a festival circuit. Are you planning on doing the same thing with Hoodie?
Yes, actually, my friend Drake Douglas just helped me produce it and get it out into the film market in LA once LA is out of lockdown.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
It's crazy to think that we're actually now into film festivals.
Yeah, no, it is definitely a weird kind of surreal experience to, if it's one where they have like screenings. It is kind of strange to see something you've made like up in front of a whole bunch of people.
For sure. We had a local screening at the old movie theater in Longview for Abstractions, and seeing an audience there live, not on YouTube, is just weird.
Yeah, it definitely changes from like just the view count to like actual physical reactions. It's
and hearing people like gasp and hearing people laugh.
Right. Yeah. So, do you have any upcoming projects after Hoodie, or are you just kind of like, I mean, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with the state of the world for a while, but are you just kind of like feeling things out, or do you have like a backlog of stories you'd like to tell?
I'm kind of toying around with a few scripts right now, just kind of making stuff as I go, just bringing some old projects back to life, writing some new scripts, just seeing what I feel at the time.
Gotcha.